Today, I took a trip to Belmar, New Jersey. And if you know Belmar, New Jersey, or it sounds familiar, it's because Belmar, New Jersey has been in the national news because a recent gym owner, Atilis Gym, has been in some deep water with the New Jersey government because they decided to open their gym despite the fact that the governor said to not have any gyms open. What's up everyone, Kevin Gallagher here, and as you can tell, I don't want to use on location, I am not pressed, but I'm on an adventure in today's day in the life of a small business owner. I am down here. If you've been watching anything with the national news, then you know what this location is right here behind me. This is Atilis Gym, and there is a lot of news going on around this because on Monday, this gym decided, despite what Governor Murphy said, that they were going to open, have people come and work out here. Now, no matter what side of the coin you stand on, I wanted to come down here, just see what's going on, and have us talk about it in today's episode. So this being 20 minutes from my house, it was a no-brainer for me to come down here. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of police and there's a lot of news outlets that are here right now. From what I've understood, there is Antifa individual down here, so I don't know if that's causing some drama, but I want to go down and check it out and have some kind of a conversation around what's going on. I decided to come over to a nice shady spot to have this as the backdrop and to talk for a second as I'm just hanging out here watching. So a couple things to just note right off the bat. There seems to be a lot of police presence around this. Now, they opened up on Monday. They were given tickets every single morning for being open to the tune of, I think it was like $2,000 a day for being open because they're not considered essential. Being down here now, some of the things that I'm just taking in and noticing are things like you have people from different sides of the political agenda. So there's a lot of people wearing MAGA hats and pro-Trump shirts. There was apparently somebody down here earlier, which I said earlier in this video, that people were saying was somebody with Antifa and they were just causing argument and trouble. Standing around, I heard things about people wanting to get into physical altercations with that individual. The sad thing that is happening, I mean, I would say there's two things that are happening that are the untold side of what's going on with COVID-19. One of them is the economic issue we are going to have on the post side of this thing. Small businesses like Atilis, these gyms, businesses that could not be open as a result of COVID-19, they are going to have dramatic effects long-term, economically speaking, and that's going to hurt us nationally. That's going to hurt our economy. You could get a $1,200 stimulus package out to every single American person, but how do you do that without collecting taxes? And so much of our taxes come from small business. So that's one. The second thing is the political agenda and how we are being controlled by them using this COVID experience. You're literally being told to either be pro-lockdown, pro-quarantine, pro-COVID is the end of the world, or you're being told to think that it's a hoax or something that's perpetrated. And that's the biggest frustration for me, is seeing the division of the US, of the people of our country as a result of COVID-19.
I'm Chris Desine from U.S. Paratroopability Specialties. This is Jason Green from Medic Air Solutions. We're here today. We dropped off a biometric scanner, Medic Air checkpoint to Atilis Gym today, so he can have another level of protection at his gym when he starts letting his members in and other patrons in to come work out. We had the ability to go inside the gym and install our unit today, and I will tell you that his gym is pretty well laid out. He has his equipment spread apart. And before you can get past his desk, he has a person there asking questions whether you're healthy or not and taking temperature. So with our unit being in there, he should be okay.
So our unit, the checkpoint, it's a touchless biometric test sensor. It will measure your temperature from about 1 to 3 feet away. It will also check your face to make sure you're wearing a mask. If you're not wearing a mask, it will ask you to adorn a mask. Everyone walking in will be tested. Average temperature is about 97.8. It's a little deviation of what people are normal to. If you go above 100.4, which is the CDC standard, you'll have an alarm go off, and they'll ask you to step outside so they can do secondary testing. But this unit has the ability to actually control the building management system as well. It can open and close locks, it can work turnstiles, it can do anything that we need to do to control a building to allow people in and out of that building just by measuring their temperature.
Let's call it for what it is. Technology is unbelievable. I don't know if you caught on to what that guy just said. He just said that their scanner can detect from 3 feet away. I mean, person's just walking into the door and all of a sudden it's gonna set off an alarm if their fever is too high. It's just unreal. So I'm actually gonna put a link to more information on their device. It should pop up right about now, and for you to check out if you want to. I'm gonna hang out here for probably another 20 minutes to a half hour, just see if anything goes down before I get out of here. But this has been talking to the people here and going around and having conversations. It's been an eye-opener to make me wonder, is it possible for some of these businesses to open up despite the fact that the government, people, maybe even sometimes our better judgment says don't, you know? But at the same time, as a small business owner, what do you do? So this is the question of the day, and this is what I want us to discuss. I'm not sure if you just saw that line. That was a line at a Rite Aid that was wrapping around an entire street. So I'm back here in my office now, and I've been having a really hard time with, like I just said, putting into words how I feel. And the reason why I'm having such a hard time is because there's so much information being sent to us, and it's hard to figure out where does the facts begin and the misinformation end. See, I've been hearing all kinds of news sources and opinions on what people think about COVID and how it's affecting us and how it's affecting business. But yet what I'm hearing over here is true, and then we have these facts over here that are true. There's something in the middle where it's completely gone to crap. So, for example, here's what I know. So here is what we know. This is what we know. These are the facts. These are what we are being given as the facts, I should say, because there's a point I'm going to make in a minute that might make you question some of this. But let's take a look at what the CDC has listed as total cases. 1.5 million total cases. Exact number, 1,551,095 total cases, with 22,000 new cases. The total deaths is 93,061, which is roughly about 6%. So 6% of people who contract the coronavirus are at high risk and pass away or die as a result of having gotten. As you scroll down looking at some more information, you take a look at the states that are most affected. And take a look at the list that we have here. The ones that are the deepest blue color have 40,000 or more cases. New Jersey, where I'm located, is one of those deep blue states with 40,000 or more. Pennsylvania, New York, Massachusetts, Michigan, Illinois, Florida, Texas, California, Maryland. These are all states that have the highest at risk having the coronavirus inside of the state. This is one of the things that we should kind of take some heart in, and we have new cases by the day. If you take a look, we are on a downward trend. So it's kind of been all over the place, but just kind of start to watch the numbers as they slowly go down. And you can see that our cases by the day are decreasing, so that is great news. Take a look at age. Everybody seems to think that young people aren't affected. 18 to 64-year-olds are the people that are getting the coronavirus more often. The problem is the other information surrounding the coronavirus. And one of the things that I wanted to look up, and this is from the World Health Organization, does the coronavirus affect older people or younger people, or are younger people also susceptible? And it says right here, people of all ages can be infected by the new coronavirus. Older people and people with pre-existing medical conditions such as asthma, diabetes, and heart disease appear to be more vulnerable to become severely ill with the virus. WHO advises people of all ages to take steps to protect themselves. But the elderly and people with pre-existing condition are more susceptible to being a higher risk level with having the coronavirus. Another thing that I had read said more men are at risk than women, which is a very interesting statistic as well. Now, here's what I'm talking about when I say it's hard to tell where the facts begin and misinformation ends. One of the most popular Facebook, social media conversations happening right now surrounds the hospitals and nursing facilities mislabeling deaths, cause of death, as the coronavirus in order to get more funding. So the full question, are hospitals getting $13,000 per patient if they write on the diagnosis COVID-19 on the patient's chart? So in this article here, talking about that very concept, what we see is that there is funding going to hospitals for cases. So right here it says hospitals get an extra $13,000 if they diagnose a death as COVID-19. So here's an example, this hospital payments and the COVID-19 death, of why I say it's hard to determine where the truth begins and the misinformation, facts, and rumors end. A really popular thing going around on social media is hospitals getting more money as a result of labeling a death as COVID-19. So they're just labeling all deaths as that. I've even talked to some people working in nursing facilities, nursing home facilities, that have said that they've been told to label these things as any death, even if it was heart disease, to label it as complication with coronavirus. And the reason why is because they're getting funding. This is factcheck.org. Now, on this website, it does in fact say that there is funding going to hospitals and healthcare facilities that are showing that there has been a death from the coronavirus or a case, or that they've had to use a ventilator. If it's true that they're labeling everything as COVID-19 just to get more funding, then it just makes me frustrated and disappointed, because first off, how many of these numbers that we just saw on the CDC site that are not correct numbers? So instead of me being another avenue that is trying to take a stand against COVID and businesses opening, or take a stand for, I'm gonna go right down the middle here and say we all need to use our definition of common sense. And I say that because common sense is different from this person to this person. In sociology, they teach you to use something called the sociological imagination. And what that means is, instead of you making assumptions of what a person should do based on what your version of common sense is, you allow that person to use their version of common sense and you give them the benefit of the doubt. So for example, let's say you are a teacher and it's back to school night and the parent doesn't show up to their scheduled time. Instead of getting angry at that parent for not showing up when they were supposed to for their parent-teacher conference, stop for a second and give them the benefit of the doubt to say maybe they were in a car accident, maybe they're having some kind of trouble, maybe they couldn't get a babysitter. So you use your sociological imagination to realize that there could be other factors taking place that could have affected that meeting. So when you take that into consideration with the COVID and whether business or not should open, there's this part of me that says everybody needs to get on the side of policing themselves. And this is a business that needs to open. And the people who are going to go, look, I'm a member of a gym and I love my gym. I'm not going to go immediately when it opens. And if it does, I'll probably wear a mask and gloves and go that route. That is my version of common sense to protect myself and my family. But somebody else can go with no mask if that's what they choose to do. But at the end of the day, we all need to find some kind of a common ground so that we can stop being divided and start coming together to benefit the world. Because here's the thing, to say, oh, everything should just open up because only 6% of the population die as a result of, or only 6% of the total cases result in death, and 6% is a super low number, that makes the life and death of that individual pointless. Instead of that, we need to realize that we are a community, and we need to work together and do what it takes to protect those around us. We need to put more things in place to help the people who are in that smaller demographic of people over 70, men with health risks. We need to do what we can to protect them. And at the same time, we can't allow our economy and all of these businesses to just go belly up. So here's the deal, because I feel like I'm just getting back to a confused point here. I want to create a conversation with you. I want you to comment below. Let's start talking it out. I want to hear people's opinions. I want to hear more facts. And don't post something unless you know for sure it's a fact. Don't post something because you just heard it by hearsay or you saw somebody post something on Facebook. If you know a fact, I want you to post it down below, or just have a general conversation surrounding what your version of common sense is and how all this works out. In the case of Atilis Gym, I don't want to see them close down. I don't want to see any small business close down. I have a huge heart for small business, and they're a massive part of our economy. But we need to do what we can to protect the people, which Atilis is doing. They are putting a lot in place to protect their employees and the people coming in to exercise. But we have to do what we can to protect the ones who can't do anything about protecting themselves.